Am I live? Okay, I'm live. Hello, nobody that's here yet. This is that fun moment when it's just you and me, the replay people, because the live people aren't here yet. So, can't know what's happening. Let's see, hide controls. No, I don't want to do that. All right. We're just going to wait for people to get here. I've got a fun project lined up. I'm going to put together a piece of furniture for the studio. So that's going to be enjoyable. I can see you all here on the chat window whenever people get here. Oh, someone's here. Hello, somebody that's here. I don't know who you are. It just says that somebody's here. What was I going to adjust? Oh, right. I wanted to see if there was a way to put a window where I can see the number of participants visually. I don't see that. Okay. That's all right. No need to worry. If you're here, feel free to say hello. And, oh, there we go. Now they're showing up. You can see them right here. Oh, and I even rigged up a button. Check it out. Woo! Now I can leave the chat window up and see everything as we're going. So good morning. Today I'm testing out the new, I've been here all weekend just demolishing the studio and getting it updated. And because I got this different camera setup, but we're going to put together this thing that is behind the chat window that you can't see. I have switched the office back to drip coffee. I am not good at making it. This is a very weak cup of coffee. I'm going to have to make a new cup or a new pot later. So, oh, well, yeah. So with this setup, I thought I've often needed to come over here and look at the, I need to interact with this stuff. And it's been hard to like keep it off camera and make it where I can still reach it and control it. So I've usually had like this and a handful of other things. They would just sit like just below the camera feed so I could reach and touch them. But then I'd have wires running everywhere. And I've wanted to be able to like roam around more. And so I was brainstorming. I was like, well, what could I do, right? And I've been success looping my own studio, which I always do. And I don't hide it from everybody. I want people to watch me evolving forward instead of it's the same, and then all of a sudden it's different. I don't hide my tech issues. I want people to see those. But I thought, well, it might be kind of fun because I love seeing people's BTS stuff. I'm like, well, I'll just leave the control center here when I need to walk over to it and talk to the chat. And I'm still kind of working out how I'm going to do things, as always, this is an evolutionary process. But I thought, because then it'd be fun. I can come over here. I can talk to the chat window. So we'll leave the chat up and we'll show you the project for today. We'll get to your wins in a minute. I am going to want to celebrate wins with you, but we'll let people show up here in the chat. But today, I've done this once before where I set up something live on camera as a conversation starter. In fact, it was this IKEA lamp. Ding. And today, we're going to set up speaker stands because my office next door is turning into a secondary streaming setup because sometimes I just want to stream things there. But, what does BTS stand for? Behind the scenes. So it lets people see behind the scenes. But I've needed speaker stands for a while. And so I've actually set up, I think this will let me show you. Let's see, can I give you a little tour? I'm going to be setting it up actually where there's even more. And all the way over here, I'm having a prop corner. So I needed a workstation where I can build things. This is a prop I'm working on for NeuroShift. So some of you might remember things like table legs. No, these aren't going to stay this long. But those of you that know what I'm talking about will know what I'm talking about. So, but I don't have that side set up. Otherwise, I would be doing this over there in prop corner. So let's get started here, taking the parts out. But while I'm doing this, Tell me in the chat what wins you've had. Tell me what wins or victories you've had in the last week. What have you done? What have you done that went well? What have you done that went terribly that you learned from? What lessons did you get? Oh. Okay. Go ahead and tell me in the chat while I do this. I'm gonna fish this out. There we go. One thing. Two thing. Three thing. Don't do that. Morning, Joseph. So good to see all these familiar faces. Love seeing you all here. I love seeing you all here. By the way, this right here, this tool, if you are looking for just a great tool to have around the house, this is like the most useful thing ever to have one of these. It's retractable, so you can always have a sharp one. You can break the chunks off as you go. And it's the best. It's the best. I absolutely love it. So let's start with getting all the parts out. Let's see what other wins we got. So Krista, currently at the gym, walking my rehabbed ankle. Excellent. Movement is so good for recovery. Bonnie had no birthday cake and also no corn maze festivities treat. Ooh, doing an old tradition a different way. Renee lost 5 pounds. Oh, excellent, excellent. Glad to hear you lost 5 pounds. Good deal. Yeah, keep the wins coming. Tell me how you celebrated. Tell me what you did. You know, last week I did like the music and stuff. I'm not going to do that. I've not set it up yet where I can just do a whole bunch of music streaming and control it. Ow. And control it easily. Those are heavy. Hold on. I got to focus. I don't want to cut myself. Let's see what else we got. Sarah, made it to 8,000 steps yesterday. Woohoo! Baked goods in the house are less tempting when they're out of sight. Yes, don't leave them out on the counter. Don't leave them out on the counter. Totally, good call, good call. John, staying focused, steps increasing, wonderful. Brooke, got my steps and run walks in, all while moving 250 miles away and being stressed. Bravo, bravo. Meg K spent the entire month only eating when hungry and stopping when full. Oh, and I've learned about satiety, hunger signals, fullness, stopping at 80%, and I'm getting thinner doing this, down 60 pounds. Love it. Love it. Love it. Oh, Brooke, and did an emotional eat. Good victory on that one. Renee, ran the Monster Dash 5K yesterday. So scary and fun. Where's my remote? All right. Here, let's walk over to the chat. Sandra, I'm at the bottom of a decade. Which decade are you at the bottom of? So here, I'm gonna switch the feed. I want to do this one and then bring the chat in. There we go. So it looks like I'm looking at the chat feed. Hit a new low 2 days in a row. Excellent. All right. Sandra, tell me about this decade. I want to know what decade this is that you're at. All right. We'll go back to this over here. I think there's instructions. You get to watch Chris. Hopefully this will be simple. This shouldn't be too difficult. Like this was surprisingly difficult. Not too difficult, but it wouldn't be IKEA if it didn't require a little bit of troubleshooting. Lifetime warranty. Okay. Not happy, satisfied with your product. Well, we'll find out here in a minute. And Pile, heavy-duty telescoping height adjustment monitor speaker stand. Okay. Assembling. Yeah, I'm willing to bet I can do this without it. We're going to go for it. YOLO. Do-do-do-do-do. All right. Well, that's not a lot of parts. That's not a lot of parts. So this shouldn't be too difficult. I don't know if that's actually wood. So, Sandra, bottom 220s and between 221 and 2... Oh, you're almost into the 2 teens. You're almost into the 2 teens. Wonderland's not too far behind you either. That's great. Bree, didn't emotionally eat when I had emotions. Well, I think you probably have emotions most of the time, but I imagine you mean like had some heavy, intense emotions, I would assume. All right, let's see. There we go. But good job. Good job on the wins, everybody. Very proud of you. You know, I was talking with a client this last week. And I said something to this client that's in the earlier phases of the journey. And it's something I've been reminding several people a lot because I'm working with a few beginners. In the beginning, success looks like failure. Just always remember that in the beginning, success looks like failure. Because, you know, this is a hard journey. It's a hard journey. So give yourself grace if you make mistakes, if you slip up. One of the biggest wins you could ever have on this journey, the biggest wins, is to get back up, to recommit, same day. It's one of the biggest wins you could have, is to fall down and say, I chose to let it go and to keep going. Let's see. Crystal, I had a hard conversation with the hubby. I have trauma dealing with finances, and it's almost always been a problem for us to discuss without me reacting and shutting the conversation down. Well, good job pushing through that. Good job pushing through that. You know, everything in life you want is on the other side of uncomfortable conversations. And when you always continue to put off uncomfortable conversations, you continue to put off getting the things you want in life. And many of us think that putting off the conversations, because it's our anxiety, it's our fear, it's our guilt, it's our shame telling us we should stop. But honestly, like, none of those are actually good reasons to put off a hard conversation sometimes. The wisdom is knowing which is which. So finances are one of those, like, honestly, we're all grown-ass adults and we all need to be able to do it. So Crystal, like, seriously, good job doing that, leveling up, having those conversations. It's something I've struggled with in the past, is being able to have those hard conversations. I would let anthills turn to mountains. And then I'd let them turn into Mount Everest, and now the problem's so big, I'm too scared to deal with it. So, good job. Let's see. Karen, I'm starting something new for the next 2 to 3 weeks, and I'm going to blind weigh. Oh, I love it. I love the blind weigh-ins. I love them. Karen, my success has come from not quitting. Yeah, I mean, not quitting works so good. It works so good to just not quit. All right, let's see here. This remote is a little janky. It's not smooth, but I'll figure it out. Renee, we had to run through a bus tunnel that was really long, and it fogged and scary characters jumping at us through the tunnel. It was really cool. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. All right. So let's figure out how to do this. Oh, there's a screw in here already. If it's a long screw, I'm willing to bet it goes through this base. Do me a favor, everybody. I want you to think about something. In your kitchen right now, if I were to walk into your kitchen, what foods would I see out? Not in cabinets, not put away, but out. Tell me in the chat. What foods would I see out on your counters? I'm going to look at the instructions. Take the long hex bolt and one washer and insert through the hole in the center of the triangular base of rubber feet. Okay, that's this one. Thread the long hex bolt, one vertical shaft with the... Okay, I know what to do. That's what I thought. What would I see out in your cabinet? Greg. Oh, we got a win. Had a handful of larger lunches and recovered by eating small dinners and still coming in at a deficit. Bravo. Bravo. Yeah, we don't need to let like one overeat be the thing. Hold on. There we go. I know that's loud. Let's see. Fruit, Mission carb wraps, bananas, oatmeal packets, bananas, avocados. What you're doing, everybody, is you're telling me what I would see out if I walked into your kitchen. Farm fresh eggs and Girl Scout cookies. Protein powder, fruit, bagel thins, and 100-calorie English muffins, sourdough bread, and stuff for making coffee and protein shakes. All right, all right, all right. Bread, fruit, bread, bagels. Oh, this is good. This is good. I'm not seeing a lot of triggering foods. Get away with the greens. Tell me about these Girl Scout cookies. Why are they out and not put away? That Girl Scout cookie seemed like something that should be put away. Greg, Cheetos. Greg, same thing about the Cheetos. Peanut butter and candy, 5-year-old. Help me understand why they still need to be left out. You might have a legitimate reason. Not saying there isn't. Just, I'm doing my coach thing and asking. David, lemon and the Halloween candy we were going to give out on Friday. So, David, are you setting yourself up for success by leaving that Halloween candy out all week that you need on Friday? Or are you going to be picking at it because it's there? Ricky, protein boards, empty pepperoni bag. Oh, protein bars. Bars. Cindy, granola, rice, keto bread, right? Okay. Seaweed snacks. I tried those once. I could not, I didn't get into them. Apples, nothing else. Everything else has a place in the cupboard. I do this thought exercise a lot that I enjoy doing, which is if I were to walk into your house and just place a bowl of Andy's mints right there in the middle of your counter, over the next week, what are the odds you would have just one? Over 1 week, bowl of Andy's mints, you would have just one Andy's mints. And a lot of people are like, well, I'd probably have one. So then I ask this follow-up question. Okay. Did you get it because you wanted it then, or would you get it because it was there? Wife controls the mess of the kitchen, can only keep it put away so much. So, Greg, I'm just asking. Maybe the answer, maybe there's nothing you can do about it, but what's to stop you from just putting them away? Like if you just put them away in the cabinets every time you walk by so you didn't have to look at them. Or maybe they're not tempting, right? I guess if they're not tempting at all, maybe you don't even need to worry about it. Maybe it's a total non-issue. That's my first thought is like, let's see. 0%. Well, y'all are stronger than me. Because I tell you, if I have something like that sitting out there, I'd be having to will myself to not eat them all the time. Brooks counters covered in moving boxes. Yeah. Get away with greens. We picked them up from our granddaughter this weekend, just haven't put them up yet. They aren't even open. That's a win. Driving home. Oh, well, that is a win. But let's not tempt fate. Maybe put them away. We're doing that kitchen audit check. Halloween is like a war zone for so many people on this journey. Wait, am I doing that the right way? I should read the instructions. Insert the short hex bolt with the wire hole. Okay, in the center. One monitor plate and thread into the top. Adjust the monitor plate height by loosening large. Okay, insert safety pin. Yep. Oh, these are leveling spikes for when you put it on carpet, which I guess is what I'm going to have to do because this is going on carpet. Let's see. Debmo, I would eat the whole bowl and I would do it because it was there, right? I mean, it's amazing. We often don't pick what we want. We pick what's the easiest. And then in our brain, we come up with a reason for why we want it. That's actually a super normal phenomenon of the human mind. It's really weird that way. Oh, yeah, would 0% only eat one and then eat them all eventually. Oh, I get what you're saying. If there was a chicken wing jar, it'd be different. A chicken wing jar. Should be kept them warm, right? I put them away all the time, but nothing is tempting anymore. She doesn't maintain it. Oh, okay, good. If it's not tempting you, Greg, then maybe I wouldn't worry about it. And I totally get that. You could be at a good place with it. Let's see. Halloween candy lives in the trunk of my daughter's car. Well, it's away from you at least, right? Let's see. Look at that. Sweet. Monitor stands for my speakers in my office. I can get these suckers off my desk and reclaim some desk space. Got to be, what is this? Oh, these are like little cushiony thingies. Well, let's put these on. Let's see, which way do they go? Go this way. I don't know if it matters, but it's the way they're going. That is satisfying. That's very satisfying. What is it about peeling things like this off that's, so satisfying? It's like plastic on electronics. Like it's just the absolute best. We are number die free due to son's reaction to them. So Halloween used to be a whole other thing. Oh, well, that's cool. Chris, you know, a lot of us have already rebuilt brains that aren't quite as triggered. Well, no, that's true. That's true. But I'd be remiss if I didn't do a gut check. It's so easy for old habits to creep in. Oh, it's so easy for old habits to creep in. So easy. Butterfingers are my go-to movie theater snack. Oh, Sarah, you're a girl after my own heart there. I used to get the Butterfingers as well. Butterfingers and Junior Mints and Reese's Pieces. I'd get an entire bag of Reese's Pieces and eat the whole thing in a movie. That's a lot of calories, by the way, to eat the whole thing. All right. Come on. Follow me. There we go. Monitor stands. Those are relatively easy to assemble. I unfortunately cannot take you with me to put them in my office because that's in a different room. All right, let's come back and switch to this view. Let's see. Been walking by the candy jar at work for the last month, not tempted even once. Excellent. Oh, joined a gym and went 3 times even. Wonderful. Good job. Good job. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. With Halloween, it's just, for many people, you know, working from home has made this a lot better. But for a lot of people, Halloween is just, I'm telling you, it's a dang war zone. It's a dang war zone to stay on top of everything. So, okay. Let me clean up the mess, and then we'll get to the topic I had prepared for us today, which I forgot what it said. What did I say the topic was? Wow, my brain is a little scattered, y'all. I have a scattered brain these days. It'll get better. So, oh right, I was supposed to put on the little spiky feet thingies. Oh, camera. You forgot to follow me. Come on, camera. It's okay. You can do it. I believe in you. Oh, no, I'll show you that in a minute. Let me do this. I was redoing my storage unit and I found something. So I'm going to show you all this here in a little bit. I don't have a lot of clothes from the old life. Some people, I burned the ships behind me. So as I lost my weight, I got rid of the clothes. I did not even want to have the option of returning. I was like, if I gain all my weight back, then my penance is I have to buy a new wardrobe. Tough luck, man. Shouldn't gain the weight back. Like, I wanted there to be actual pain and a penalty to gaining my weight back. And I figured making myself buy clothes was a good one. Here, I'm going to adjust the zoom here. Make this come closer to me. There we go. So supposedly these, because this is going on carpet, I'm supposed to remove this and put the little spiky thingies in. So I'm going to do that. Talking to the camera reminded me of Mr. Rogers. Yeah, this is fun talking to the camera, talking to you. I actually really enjoy this. I don't get trick-or-treaters, so I don't have to buy any candy. Yeah. You know, Halloween used to be for me just really bad. I mean, really, really bad. I would I would have a lot of candy. I'd have a lot of candy. The only thing on the counter is coffee. That's a good thing to have on the counter. Karen, I want as much friction between me and getting fat again. That's exactly how I felt. I didn't want it to be easy. And the reality is when I was keeping those clothes around, I was making one aspect of gaining weight back easier by already having clothes. I'm like, well, these don't fit. I'll go get into the next ones. No, I wanted to wake up and be like, these don't fit. And I wanted to cry and be sad about it. Like, I wanted it to cause an emotional response at gaining my weight back. Hold on. I wanted there to be an emotional response at gaining my weight back. And that is why I went with, I'm missing one. I must have dropped one. We'll find it in a minute. I wanted there to be an emotional consequence to gaining my weight back. And, you know, some people, they try to avoid that. Because a lot of people, they try to do everything possible to avoid feeling bad emotions. But doing that only made me unhappy. Oh, wait a minute. What are these? Oh, I see. I need a red sweater and also show us the shoes. Well, part of this setup, there's one over there, it's not built yet, is going to be to do workouts, just like at-home workouts. That's the next thing. I've been wanting to do that for over a year. It's just, I have a look that I want it to look like, and the tech setup of that has been expensive and slow to acquire. Like this camera that I'm using now that follows me has been, it's actually new technology, so I've been waiting for this for a while. So, Tina, I see you. Wait, what are you saying about Tina? What did I miss? I don't see Tina in here. Oh well. Seether, but I love Daughtry. Oh wow, yeah, Chris Daughtry. I remember him on American Idol. Gosh, that was a fun season. Instructions is just another man's opinions. You know, I used to be resistant to instructions, but what I've realized is I usually could figure it out without instructions, but instructions save me time. However, oh, there it is. Found it. Huzzah! Now they're done. Oh, that does make it. Those spikes make a difference. Okay. But I got to put the other flat thingies on this side. And then I got to keep, you know, what do y'all do with all the random Allen wrenches you end up with from putting things together? Like, I used to just keep them all in a drawer. Hope, are you saying you've never seen American Idol? Well, all right, now, back in ye olden times. No, American Idol was actually good it's the original The Voice. But it lost, you know, you can have too much of a good thing. It was too much of a good thing there, I think. Too much of a good thing. Hey, Tina, so happy to join live for a few minutes. That's 2 weeks in a row. I believe you were here last week, too. So, good to have you, Goal Weight. Hi, Slim. You know, it is fun being thin. Like, I really enjoy being thin. It's, but like you gotta, it's not an accident, right? It's not an accident to be thin. Like, there's a plan. Things happen. Life shows up and you gotta be willing and able to adjust. Cindy, you finally got rid of the Allen wrenches? What's an Allen wrench? Oh, that's these things, a hex wrench. You know, it's these things that come with things. And I mean, I have my own fancy set, which actually, is that this same size? Yeah. I like these ones better. Actually, I'm going to finish this up with my fancy one. Let's see here. So that goes, I want to get everything nice and straight. Regarding the register for the Kansas City meetup last night. Woohoo! I'm glad to have you. We got some other new people coming for our little experiment. It's another experimental event, but I think it's going to be a good one. And I could use the time myself personally. Wow, that does not want to just lock in, but I suppose it's not getting touched. It's just sitting there. All right. Hi. My name's Chris, and I can put shit together. It's very anticlimactic, this being done. Metaphor for life right there, I guess. So hold on, I'm going to set this over here. I'll be right back. I'm going to go quickly stash these in a drawer over here so I don't lose them. Because I don't want... Ooh, I need a zip... Ooh, there we go. Let's say I need a Ziploc bag. Look at that. They came with one. And you know what? I'll keep that in there with it. One moment. Be right back. I mean, you can still hear me while I'm over here. How's the microphone quality, everybody? Has that been coming through good okay? That's one of the other things I've been needing to do is to... I used to have I still have them, the fancy microphones. Like what you do the podcast with, but it just leaves me so anchored. Get away with the greens. Best part of my weekend was having my 10-year-old granddaughter tell me I'm the most fun grandma she has. I had the energy to play. I was able to get up and down from the floor. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. That's why we lose weight. That's why we become thin, healthy, happy, and shape, the core four. Because we get to do things like that. You get to make memories playing with the grandkids. It's just so great. I'm glad you had that experience. Don't ever forget that. Sometimes we discover a why for why we lose weight and why we take care of ourselves. Sometimes we discover it along the way. So, all right. Let me finish this up, and then we can talk weight loss. Let me go put this bench. P.S. If you need a workout bench, this workout bench is like $50 on Amazon. Super easy to assemble. You don't need any handiness at all. I believe it even came with the tool. You just throw a few things in there. This one is a special limited edition one full of cat claw holes, but you can't get this one. All right, this is a custom job. But otherwise, the rest of it you can get it just is. But a workout bench for at home is just awesome. It's awesome. So, all right, let's talk weight loss. If you emotionally eat, keeping your weight off is going to be hard. It might even be impossible. Because as a coping strategy, emotional eating creates a secondary problem. I used to, up until recently, I was equating emotional eating and talking about it in terms of alcoholism. But I've always struggled with that one because alcohol has two distinct differences from food. Two distinct differences that need to be understood. One second, I'm gonna... alcoholism, you actually can form a chemical addiction to it. Food doesn't work the same way. You don't create a dependency upon that. The other thing you can do with alcohol that you can't do with food is you can abstain completely. You can completely abstain from alcohol and just not have any, which makes it really easy to know if you did it or not. Because you can say, if any alcohol has crossed my lips, I'm no longer able to say I'm sober. I have broken the line. And so if you think of it like, or we'll use some of this. You need a line that it's like, if I get right up to the line, I need to abort, right? And if I cross the line, I need to talk to somebody or journal about it or dig in. Why did I cross the line? Why did I go into the other side of, emotional eating? Now, as I teach emotional eating, I actually have a name for this line. I call it the loss of control threshold. All right, so the loss of control threshold. And alcohol, it's easy to see this. Food, it is not. And alcohol can have a chemical urge pulling you there. To say you're addicted to sugar is not accurate. It's not the same as saying you're addicted to alcohol. It's not the same. So, what is it actually more closely equivalent to? If you were to try to think like, how would I overcome some other thing that we could transfer transfer the information from one thing to another. Because not all of the techniques from alcohol translate to dealing with emotional eating because, number one, you can't abstain from alcohol. And I think I figured out what it is. It's being a shopaholic. Because you still have to buy things and there's no chemical addiction to shopping, but there is a dependency upon the things you need. Like you still need to buy things. Like you still need to buy groceries. If your pants wear out, you need to go buy new pants. If your belt breaks, you need to go buy a new belt, right? So a person that does some retail therapy, that can get really out of hand. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is, let's say that you are having problems in life and you go engage in some retail therapy with your credit card. Sure, it might make you feel better, but you're creating a secondary problem. At a minimum, you're spending money that didn't need to be spent, but potentially you could be going into debt, which is what some people do. And how do you know if it is a purchase you should be making or if it is a emotional purchase? And the more I've thought about it, I'm like, that's it. That's it. It's like shopping. Because with shopping, you can't completely abstain. Sure, you can abstain from certain types of shopping, no doubt. You can do that. You could say, I don't go to the electronics store. If you're an electronics junkie, I'm not going to go to the craft store if you emotionally shop for crafts things. You can do all of those things, but you can't just say, I'm never going to buy things. That's really what emotional eating's like. You can't say you're never going to eat again. And it wouldn't even be good or helpful to say, I'm never going to eat certain foods again. You might do that for a while, but the ultimate place, I believe, in how I teach weight loss, is that you arrive at the place where you can eat anything because you can control yourself. And so how do you know if it's emotional eating versus, wrong button. How do you know if it's emotional eating versus not emotional eating? What is this line? How do you assess? Because we can't say, I won't eat. You have to look at the motive or the why behind the eating. So I'm going through some emotional things in my life, and I'm telling you, it's that question. This question. Why am I eating? Before I eat, I need to know the answer to this question. But it's not just this question. There's two parts. It's why am I eating and why am I eating this, insert whatever food I'm about to eat. Why am I eating, and why am I eating this? When I know the answers to these two questions, it makes it easier for me to determine if I'm emotionally eating or not. This, again, let's say you have retail, you're a shopaholic, right? You like to engage in retail therapy. You can say, why am I purchasing? Why am I shopping? Why am I buying something? And why am I buying this thing, right? And I started thinking, like, oh, that works so much better. It's so much closer than saying, like, alcohol. Because it can still create a secondary problem, but it doesn't have the dependency. Second, move that bench out of the way. So, whenever you're going through a hard time in life, and you are an emotional leader in recovery. Hi, my name is Chris Terrell, and I'm an emotional leader in recovery. When you're going through a hard time in life, that is when you need to use your new strategies the most. And you have to take wanting to use them off the table. You have to take wanting to use them off the table. It has to be like, no, I need to do this. I need to, because I'm aware of the seeds of emotional eating that are still within me. And stress reawakens those seeds. So I did if you're in the guild, it's going to go up today, the replay for my Friday session. I did it in my maintenance master group, which, by the way, those of you that aren't in the guild that are here, I have a whole maintenance program in the guild. We have our own maintenance support groups, but where I talked about my anti-emotional eating protocol, the anti-emotional eating protocol. I have my own, and I shared my personal anti-emotional eating protocol with everybody. You got to have your own, but I think one of the ones that helps me the most that I wanted to pass on to you is when you're not sure if you're emotional eating or not, and you have to keep yourself in check, it's to ask these questions. Why am I eating? And why am I eating this? And I tell myself I don't eat unless I know the answer to these questions. When I'm stressed, when I'm highly emotional, when there's a persistent source of stress impacting my life. And this is important because I want to stay thin. Just like you, right? You don't want to take a round trip ticket to Thinville. You want to book a one-way ticket. You want to lose all the weight, leave everything there behind, and go live in Thinville. Right? Isn't that what you want to do? So you have to have a plan. If you're an emotional eater, you can't do this by just white knuckling it. I mean, you're going to have to white knuckle it sometimes. But white knuckling it has a limit because white knuckling requires on willpower and effort. And those are finite resources. But sometimes you do have to just white knuckle it with a decision. You have to just say, I'm not going to do it. 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 But when you keep saying, I'm not going to do it, your brain is thinking about it. So it's, I'm not going to do it. All right, I need to go distract myself. I need to go do something. What can I do? And go do something. It's so tempting when life is stressful to stagnate, to go retreat, to go hide and sit still. But that's the other thing I've found that's not helpful. Because when life is stressful, you need distractions and you need to be able to take breaks from your challenges in life. And that's part of staying thin, is responding to stressful times in life in a different way. Look, the particulars of a stressful time are irrelevant. You don't even know what's coming. Like, you're going to be dealing with something 10 years from now that you don't know what it is. You'll never be able to guess it. Like, again, let's go back to rewind the clock to 2020. None of us saw a pandemic coming. None of us saw that coming 10 years earlier. So I guarantee you, in the next 10 years, you are going to have circumstances and situations that are going to take you to your absolute maximum capability, probably even beyond, of emotional resiliency and durability and strength. And you're going to need to respond to that differently. You're going to need to be able to respond to that differently. So, sometimes when you're going through hard times in life, your mind gets away from you. And that's why you need to have good distractions. And many of us would turn to food, just like people would turn to retail therapy, as a distraction. It's something, I need to eat. I should do this. Not if you're an emotional eater. You should not. It's a slippery slope. Be like a drinker saying, I should have one glass of alcohol. No, you should not. Or it's like a drinker saying, well, look, I'm an alcoholic on Jack Daniels. It's okay if I have some beer. It's lower alcohol content. No. Because 1 turns into 2. 2 turns into 5. 5 turns into 10. 10 turns into a car wrapped around a telephone pole. Or whatever other tragedy. Lost job, lost friends. And maybe not that one time. The worst thing that could happen to a drinker is they drink and nothing happens. That's the worst thing that could happen to somebody that's an alcoholic. Because then they might take away the message, I can drink and it'll be okay. It's like, yeah, but what about the 3rd time or the 5th time? So just remember that with emotional eating. If you're an emotional eater in recovery, don't use food. You need other coping strategies. And again, if you're in the guild today, you'll see my anti-emotional eating protocol. I'll release it in there today, or when the replay goes up. So, yeah. My self-identification and owning that I'm an emotional eater, that the seeds of it are in me, has been very helpful. I know it's not me as an identity, but I live in this body that has wiring, and this wiring has engaged in emotional eating enough that it serves up these thoughts to me unconsciously. I don't beckon to them. They show up on their own. And I have now realized it's not my job to stop them from arriving. It's my job to respond to the thoughts that I did not request differently. By reminding myself that I'm not my thoughts. By reminding myself that I'm not my emotions. I witness my thoughts and I experience my emotions. Seems like a subtle little thing that might be pointless to some, but yeah, I assure you it's not. It's not pointless. It's actually really, really important. All right, well, I'm going to go and wrap up the live stream. Thanks for joining me here, everybody. Don't forget, why am I eating? And why am I eating this? When you're struggling, make sure you know the answers to these questions every time. And to everybody else who's doing great, have a great rest of your day. Those of you in the guild, I'll see you in our next guild meeting. Talk soon.